The movie starts with a phantom scream, depicting the brutality of war taking place. In the apartment, a middle-aged man Jack wakes up to pay the rent to Ruth, the landlord. It becomes clear that Jack has scars on his back and he begins to have a short memory. He then got ready to go about his routine. He goes to church to play bingo, then meets an intern nurse Jeremy, his blood supplier. Jack is known to be stiff with everyone, so he only socializes to meet his needs. After getting the blood, he goes home and stores it in the refrigerator. Unexpectedly, a strange young girl appears in front of his door, but she immediately leaves because she is nervous. Just as Jack intends to sleep, two thugs, Short and Steve, come breaking down his door. They intend to interrogate him about Jeremy for unknown reasons, but Jack refuses to talk, triggering them to use violence, resulting in Jack's hand being shot. But it was useless. He kicked them out. Later that night he goes to a diner and is greeted by Cara, a waitress who takes an interest in him. The woman is concerned about the gunshot wound on his hand, offering him help, but Jack insists that he is fine. Back home, he receives a call from his ex-girlfriend, Jillian, who asks him to pick up their daughter at a bar. Jillian explains to Jack, which leads him to realize that the young girl who arrived earlier is his daughter, Andrea. The girl had come to visit him, but Jack has no idea about the situation or who she is. Soon after, Jack goes to a bar where a bartender informs him that a young girl with a certain description was seen leaving with a man named Tim. Unfortunately, the bartender doesn't know where Tim lives, prompting Jack to open the phone directory and then go to Tim's apartment. Tim tries to kick him out, but Jack won't leave, so a drunk Andrea confronts him. Knowing that Andrea is fine, Jack decides to leave her alone, but Andrea wanted to get to know him better, so she asked permission to stay at his apartment for a while, and Jack agreed. The girl is 19. Before they go home, they go to a diner to eat. There, Andrea gets acquainted with Cara, who is surprised to find out that Jack actually has a daughter. The next morning, Jack wakes up with the usual phantom scream and finds that the gunshot wound on his hand has healed. Then he goes to the diner and orders a hot tea. At that moment, a mysterious man in a hat appears at the table behind him, making Jack uncomfortable with his presence, so he decides to go home and go back to sleep. In the afternoon, Andrea calls her mother, telling her that she is fine with Jack, but Jack immediately ends their conversation without explanation, then goes out to meet Jeremy. To Jack's surprise, he witnesses Steve and Short kidnap Jeremy, forcing him to take a postal service car to follow them. With his hands tied, Jeremy is tortured in a warehouse. Luckily, Jack arrives soon, and for the second time he beats the two thugs. Jack immediately takes Jeremy to the ambulance, then goes home with a blood bag in his hand. Seeing Jack's boring routine, Andrea invites him to talk about Jillian, but Jack refuses. He prefers to take her to church to play bingo. This is his favorite game. He plays bingo 3 times a week, only to win once a month. When night falls, the two stop at a diner where Short's friend, Leather, secretly drops poison into Jack's drink. Short takes a grudge against him for meddling in his business. Then Cara approaches their table to deliver the drink, and she agrees to Andrea's invitation to play bingo together. At that moment, the mysterious man in the hat reappears at another table, and Jack is surprised to find that his daughter can see him. Jack insists on her to ignore the man, saying that he is a bad guy. After drinking, the two walk home and Jack begins to feel the effects of the poison, but he can still stand it. When they gets home, Jack feels something is wrong, so he peeks out the window, only to find Short and friends standing by outside. Unfortunately, when he goes out to beat them up, he falls unconscious in front of them. They then carry him to the docks, intending to throw him into the canal, but he regains consciousness and drags Leather down with him. Without thinking much, Short and Steve drive away, but Jack suddenly appears blocking their way. He dragged Short out of the car, then killed him and ate his throat, while Steve ran away to save himself. Since then, Jack realized that he is starting to be dangerous, so he kicked Andrea out of his apartment, making the girl disgusted and left while cursing him. Now Jack doesn't want to communicate with anyone anymore, including Cara. When he found Ruth arguing with his neighbor Ben, he let Ruth go, then he attacked the man, then threw the garbage into the trash. Jack became like a hungry monster, so that night he decided to find prey by provoking people's evil side. But it became a difficult hunt because not everyone wanted to do bad things to him. At one point, Jack vomited right in front of 3 young men, making them angry and demanding compensation. One of them looked older and had a gun, prompting Jack to take him, then go home. While treating the gunshot wound to his chest, he got a call from the thug, who told him that they would end Andrea's life if he didn't show up at the dock by midnight. Since Jack has killed 2 of their crew, they decide to kidnap Andrea and kill Jillian in retaliation. Despite being threatened, Jack just acts indifferent. At the diner, Jack apologizes to Cara for his earlier stupidity. He explains that he was just in a bad place. A little while later, Cara gets into a fight outside with Tim, who turns out to be her ex-boyfriend. They bought the car together, and now Tim wants it. Jack then intervenes, protecting Cara from Tim's violence, forcing Tim to punch him in the face, but to no avail. In the end, Tim decides to leave with the disputed car, and Jack decides to go home alone. When he looks back, he sees Cara following him, so he decides to walk home with her. Their apartments are only 6 blocks away. Cara tries to get to know Jack better considering his stiff and withdrawn attitude. At this moment, she learns that Jack has had many jobs in his past. He has worked in almost every field, including joining the military and being a smuggler. Meanwhile, Cara claims that she went to business school for 4 years only to be a waitress. She had owned a coffee shop for a while but then went bankrupt and got divorced. Arriving in front of Cara's apartment, Cara gave Jack a hug. But Jack froze in panic, then ran away in a hurry. When he got home, he immediately took the blood bag from the fridge and drank it. The next day, Jack went to the docks to fulfill the thug's request, but they didn't show up, leaving Jack wondering. So, he decided to go to see Alex, the son of a mafia where Jack used to work. Jack asked if he ordered his men to kidnap Andrea, and Alex said he never heard anything about the girl. In fact, he offered Jack his position as a bouncer again, but Jack won't answer, and left. That night at the diner, Jack found a body lying down, and saw the thugs gathering, so he sat down carefully. When Cara whispered for help, Jack went to the bathroom, followed by someone who tried to kill him. Not long after, he came out with a screwdriver stuck in his waist. He tried to calm Cara down, but suddenly the thug shoots Jack right in the head, shocking everyone. Instead of dying, he took out the thugs with his bare hands, leaving Steve alive. Jack explains to Cara that they have taken Andrea hostage, and he needs to save her immediately. Therefore, he asks for her little help in exchange for $1 million, and Cara agrees. They then take Steve to Jack's apartment and tie him up in the bathroom. When Cara finds Jack's old stuff, she is shocked to see Jack in an old photo, so she asks, "How old are you?" Unfortunately, Jack can't give her a clear answer. He only says he's in the Bible, and he was once known as Cain. Then Jack tells Cara to take some of the money in the box and asks her to leave. Meanwhile, Jack goes to the bathroom to interrogate Steve. Steve admits that he and his friends were hired to kidnap Andrea, but he doesn't know who hired them since he's just a new member. Then one of his friends suddenly comes and takes Cara hostage, forcing Jack to kill the man on the spot. Once again, he tells Cara to leave immediately, and Jack decides to let Steve live. Soon after, Jack brought the remaining money, then went to see Jeremy at the hospital to ask for an explanation. Jeremy suspected that the people who broke his legs might just be hired thugs, because he had borrowed money from a man named Alex. Thus, Jack came to the conclusion, Alex is a douche. Jack then met Cara to ask for her help again, in return for another $1 million, and Cara agreed. On the way to Alex's headquarters, Jack confirmed that he is a vampire, without fangs. Although he is long-lived, he wasn't very involved in modern conflicts. Upon arriving at the location, Jack asked Cara to wait for him, while he went straight into the club after killing the guard. Jack got a confrontation from several of Alex's men, who opened fire on him. But no matter how many bullets they shot, it couldn't bring Jack down. Instead, they are killed one by one. After that, Jack immediately met Alex and beat him, then he went into the secret room where Andrea is being held hostage. The girl is tied to a chair and her face is battered, prompting Jack to break Alex's left leg, then cradle Andrea out of the building. He tells Cara to take Andrea to the hospital and asks her to forget she ever knew him. Now, Jack goes back inside to finish his business with Alex. While Jack starts to torture Alex, the real problem begins to come to light. Alex is trying to get revenge for the death of his father, Tom, because he thinks that Jack killed him before he left their gang. Unexpectedly, Jack admits it. Jack has been trying hard to stay under the radar, but Tom has other plans, and that's how. What makes Jack mad the most is, Alex has made him back into his dark side. So, now he's going to kill him and eat him. At that moment, a mysterious man with a hat suddenly appears and stops Jack's action. Jack questions why he should let someone like Alex live, when in the past war, he let Jack eliminate thousands of people. The man is like the one who cursed Jack to be immortal. Even Jack himself is powerless in front of him. Meanwhile, Alex can't see him, thinking Jack is crazy. A moment later, Cara comes to ask for Jack's help because she can't get Andrea to the car by herself. After Cara and Jack leave, Alex suddenly sees the mysterious man in the hat, who says hi to him. The movie ends here. Like and share if you enjoyed the recap. Thanks for watching.